Hi, in this video we're going to look at the concepts behind users, roles and groups within CONTINUUM CXM. Firstly, there's users. Put simply, users are the people that use CXM to various degrees. There are, however, two types of users. There are licensed users and there are free users. Licensed users are essentially managers, controlling key features like workflow, notifications, roles and customer records. They have license to dive deep into CXM and action its potential. Free users are infinite in number and can generally be categorized into two groups. Firstly, your staff. These users may well be the vast majority of users within your organization, including any third parties you work with. They can work on cases, progressing and completing cases raised by customers, collaborating together to help and assist your customers. Your customers are the second group of free users, and again, the number is infinite. So what are we actually controlling with CXM? We're controlling both services and cases, governing what people can see and do within CXM. And to do this, we need to understand and create permissions. Permissions are a combination of three things: the type of user, the role assigned to a user, and the group a user has been allocated to. This combination determines what cases a user can view and the actions they can perform on these cases. Within a case, we can also control what information is visible to a user based on the role they perform. So let's talk about user types. There are three user types we've created: staff, third party, and customers, which could be citizens, students, or clients, for example. A staff type can be either a free user or a licensed user, which is dependent on their role. A third-party type will be a free user. As example, these could be various external experts, vendors, or outsourced service providers who could contribute to a case. These are free users, as they can only perform simple interactions and cannot alter deeper level information. A customer type can raise and update a case, plus view their case history. They can access their cases either through the online My Account service Jadu supplies, or they can sign directly into their CXM dashboard. As you'd expect, a customer, citizen, student type are all free users. So the customer, third party, and free staff role are completely unlimited, so you can have as many as you require. Let's look at user types by way of an example, using a bulky waste collection scenario. Here we have three different types of user. First, we have a free customer user who raised a case to have an old sofa collected. Next, we have a member of staff within customer services who is licensed because they can view and amend this customer's data. Lastly, we have the third-party collector who is a free user, and they can comment and contribute information to the case, but little else. Next, let's look at user roles. There are 5 standard roles within CXM, and each of these have permissions allocated to them, which basically define what people can see and do within a case. They are administrator, advisor, staff, third party, and customer. The role a user has affects what functionality they have across the system. For example, whether or not they can create a customer account, as well as what they can do for a specific case. For example, being able to move a case to in progress, or invite a new user to participate in a case. Finally, user types and roles belong in groups. The group a user is assigned to affects which type of cases they can view and update. In this example, there are a number of different groups, and we can see which service areas they're able to view and participate in. If we look close at the customer services group, we can see they have access to all service areas, whereas the housing group only has access to the housing services area. On creating a new user, this is when we assign a user type, role, and group for them. This creates the permissions for what they can effectively see and do within CXM. So how does it all fit together? Let me illustrate. An individual user has a type, a role, and is associated with a group, which has access to various services. So let's imagine a user has a type staff. They have an advisor role, meaning they're a licensed user, and they're in the group customer services. This group can see the 3 different services of inquiries, appeals, and planning. Staff member 2 is of the same type, is in the same group, however, they have a different role. This means what they can actually do on a case is different to the advisor. So whilst they may work in the same area of the organisation, it is the role that sets their permissions. The main difference between advisors and free staff is the ability to update customer records and data. Next, we can add another member of staff who also has a free staff role, but they belong to a new group called planning. This group can only see cases to do with planning applications. So although in this instance they're of the same type and role as the free staff role in customer services, as they're within a different group, they are restricted to the different types of cases they can see. Next, let's include a third-party role. This is a different type, a different role, and is in a different group, so we can specify what they can see and do. So in this scenario, they can only see cases within the appeals service area. So it's the combination of the type, the role, and the group that specifies what service users can see, plus what functionality they can use and permissions they have within a case. Users, roles, and groups within CONTINUUM CXM.